It's 1945, and the world is celebrating the end of World War II, largely thanks to over 639,000 Jeeps produced in Toledo, Ohio by Willys Overland. Flash forward to the 1950s, and the Owens, Illinois company has reinforced Toledo as the glass capital of the world. What do these revolutionary innovators have in common with an arts-focused charter school? The answer is simple: 333 14th Street, Toledo, Ohio.
So this is obviously the World War II hangar for shipping the Toledo Jeeps. If anyone was to be injured, the original World War II stretcher is still in here. Typically, a historic building is always gutted of its pieces that are left behind. Nothing's ever left behind, but this is. The actual Toledo School for the Arts building was constructed by the Overland Car Company. It was a finishing plant, and they were bringing them here, ultimately showing them off in the showroom on the first floor for sales. We are on Adams Street, which was a very important corridor and hub for activity in the city of Toledo. I think what makes the building really unique, it does still show how versatile old spaces can be. When you think about being in the Rust Belt, how many vacant, abandoned buildings are out there and what possibilities could they be turned into? Well, if Toledo School for the Arts is the example of that, it's endless, it's limitless at that point.
When we first started the school, we were looking for a sponsor. So we approached a local school system, and one of the people involved in that decision-making process told our first director that there'll be an art school in Toledo when pigs fly. And so at the very first meeting with 125 students and their parents, he said, well, ladies and gentlemen, today pigs fly. We don't know how long they're gonna fly, but today they fly.
When we were thinking of leaving the original building, there were a lot of thoughts about, well, should we go out to one of the suburbs? But the board chose to remain downtown.
We probably toured about 20 buildings downtown. When we got to this building, it had two really good qualities to it. One is, it's made of concrete. Each floor is about 16 to 20 inches thick of concrete. And if you look around, right behind me, these pillars, they hold the building up.
Since its construction as a Willys Overland finishing plant in 1916, the solid structure has attracted Toledo's finest innovators for decades. In 1948, Owens, Illinois, the world's largest glass container manufacturer, took over the building and named it the Duraglass Center, a research facility focused on improving the durability of its products. So if you still enjoy a nice glass bottle of Coke, you have OI and 333 14th Street to thank. But if you are a plastic Coke bottle kind of person, you still have this hardy building to thank.
When I needed laboratory space, it was called the Menlo Park Innovation Center. Owens, Illinois had abandoned the building and sold it to a guy named Ken Closter. It was looking for companies that were starting up and doing new things. I happened to need new space, and so they had big elevators, so I could put equipment in there and take it up to the third floor, and we put in our first little manufacturing operation, and we had all our laboratories and all our offices up there.
The production of vehicles or glass products, it's an industrial process, and in a lot of cases, you can see the influence in some of the production and art that comes out of the student work at Toledo School for the Arts.
So they're using shells as their paint bowls, right? So they can mix up all their paint in a little shell. Grinding it up with the rocks. We have stone tools and flint for them. They've got feathers here for paintbrushes. Looks like, so you have 18-year-olds who are in a humanities class and they're finger painting right now. I don't really see it that way. I see it as this is an important skill for like art historians, preservationists, right? They're matching hue and color. They're really focusing really deeply. I mean, like even on the cracks or the veins that are in the rock. Theater techs, right? People who build sets, people who do costume design. I don't think it's like a terrible, crazy idea to actually think about them doing this.
In an art school, industrial features like the freight elevator found new and creative uses.
One of the huge benefits for us has been the freight elevator that used to haul the cars, up and down when they were painted on the top floors and then brought down to be sold. We can load a ton of instruments. We've got a lot of drums or large basses that have to be moved, and it's very easy. We just put them on the freight elevator and go up and down.
One of the other advantages is that this is an art school. It's got a lot of loud noises, it's got a lot of dancing, it's got a lot of jumping, and you have to isolate those spaces. You have 12 inches of concrete, just to start with.
As enrollment grew in the early 2000s, school administrators found themselves needing to go outside the box, quite literally, for more and better space.
The entire first floor was mostly glass when the building was originally constructed, and then over time they took what was all storefront and added these limestone panels on the entire first floor. And so the opportunity to really open up the first floor and bring it back to a storefront and an approachable environment was huge.
We never planned on calling it the portal. We built it, and all of a sudden, like, what do we call it? And somebody said, it's the portal. So the portal is where the arts unite the community with Toledo School for the Arts. Evening classes, concerts, gallery shows, make and take spaces. I love this side of the building because it now looks like an art school. When people drive down the street, they look in here and they're like, I wonder what that's all about. And people will come in and visit, and then we can educate them on the work that we do. Because we are a community school, and without our community, we'd be nowhere.
This is the senior class of Toledo School for the Arts. They leave their mark on the building. Oh, this one, NYU, Broadway, Gabe Ulmer, he's there right now in New York.
We're just stewards, right? That's the real philosophy of historic architecture is we don't own these buildings. They are going to continue long after us. So we have to take good stewardship of these buildings to pass them on to the next person that can reuse them.